Homelander chugging breast milk and the infamous Herogasm bloodbath might have made the boys' fans squeamish, but they don't compare to this. A scene that was as gross to film as it was to watch. One of the many oddities of The Boys is the way that any character, no matter how terrible, suddenly transforms into an audience surrogate the moment they're trapped in the room with Homelander. A-Train is a selfish, murdering jerk, for instance, but it's hard not to relate to him as Homelander starts making fun of his weight, and there's nothing A-Train can do about it. Ashley is a power-hungry corporate stooge, but when she develops a hair-yanking habit from the stress of working with Homelander, we have no trouble understanding why. When Homelander shatters the eardrums of an innocent, Daredevil-inspired soup, Ashley's horrified expression perfectly matches how we feel.
And now you're just another useless blind guy.
Such is the case with Chase Crawford's The Deep, a character who could have been a main villain in any other show. Introduced as a rapist and further characterized as a shallow loser with an unsettling fish fetish, Deep briefly stops being quite such a hateable character when Homelander is tormenting him. Outside of maybe Stormfront, nobody deserves to be treated the way Homelander treats people. This is made most clear in the Season 3 episode Barbary Coast, where Homelander is feeling especially sadistic and decides to force the Deep to eat an octopus. But it's not just any octopus, it's Timothy, an octopus that the fish-talking, fish-loving Deep has grown particularly attached to. The Deep says,
He's begging for his life. He has kids.
But Homelander insists, and the Deep's wife Cassandra urges him to go along. And so begins the grossest, most agonizing 45 seconds in a show that's already filled with gross-out sequences. Unfortunately for Chase Crawford, the scene wasn't entirely done with CGI. He explained to Entertainment Weekly how they made Timothy out of vegan products, which helped a little, but still didn't stop him from being grossed out. He went on to elaborate.
But the main biting down part was like syrup and something else. It was disgusting. But yeah, it was palatable. It was okay.
The Boys' VFX supervisor Stephen Fleet gave Corridor Crew a more in-depth explanation of how they were able to make the Timothy prop convincing. He said, a food specialist created a vegan tentacle, which looks like a gummy worm that he could suck up. It's the right size, not the right texture, we had to skin over it, but it gave him something tangible, because you want those chopsticks to grab onto something. He went on to add that the ink is also real. They created an ink balloon, which Crawford rehearsed with a number of times before filming the scene. At a certain point, it starts to feel like having the actor eat an actual octopus would be easier than doing all this, which might be why PETA praised the show for how they went about this scene. But for Fleet, all these extra steps felt necessary. He said, I was like, this is not easy. This is not easy work, so we need to get as much real stuff as we can into the arena here. Of course, the grossness of Timothy's demise isn't just about the taste and texture of what Crawford was eating, or the inky ooze dripping out of his mouth. It's horrifying because there's an intense friendship between the Deep and Timothy. Not only that, but there's also a weird sexual thing going on between them. In a bizarre scene where the Deep is having intercourse with his cult-approved wife Cassandra, it becomes clear that Deep is more interested in Timothy, who is watching from the fish tank behind the bed. The Deep's deep passion for cephalopods is confirmed later on in Season 3. He hooks up with one during Herogasm, and later tries to convince Cassandra to have a threesome with himself and an octopus called Ambrosia.
Babe, this is Ambrosia. She's very pretty. She thinks you're so hot.
But hey, we're not here to judge. In fact, it's almost kind of sweet how the Deep clearly views fish as fellow people and treats them as worthy of kindness and dignity. We say almost because despite the Deep's good intentions with them, he keeps accidentally getting them killed in brutal, humiliating ways. He gets a lobster murdered after promising he'll keep it safe. He gets a dolphin run over by a truck. And he lets poor Lucy the whale get impaled by a speedboat.
Promise we'll harvest your brother.
Timothy is the natural escalation of this trend. As the Deep doesn't just accidentally kill him, he is forced to actively chew and swallow a creature that he genuinely considers to be a friend, a confidant, and a lover. Basically, the Deep is being forced to eat a fellow person. Honestly though, given all the stories we've heard about method acting and directors tricking their actors for more authentic reactions, we're just happy the showrunners didn't make Crawford eat an actual living octopus. After all, Jeremy Strong actually drank that revolting meal for a king in the Succession finale, and Will Ferrell really did eat some of Buddy's gross syrupy treats in Elf.